Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdettes Newsstand, and I have kind of been looking over this the past few days, trying to see if it could be debunked, and it really hasn't been able to be. There was some Reddit posts, and I will put the timestamp in when I edit, because at the end of this, I am going to just spoil the hell out of Captain Marvel. If you don't want to see it, make sure you don't watch it. But yeah, as far as what I am talking about right now, it looks like there's a good possibility. Now, all of this, every single thing I say in this video could be fake. Basically, what we are looking at is just entirely speculation. So, as far as what this goes, these two endings look like it's all going to depend on how Captain Marvel does this weekend. And I know some people have tried to debunk the whole issue with it only being in theaters, but I am still only seeing, Captain Marvel in theaters. But we'll see. We should know more tomorrow about that. But everything, like I said, comes down to Captain Marvel and how it goes. And with these two endings, it was basically spoiled on Reddit, and we've got a contract worker for the production company. And it does say that there was whispers from inside Disney marketing team that they've been planning information on the internet with key people to build online buzz. I mean, we kind of already knew that. Like, they're not the only company that does this. There's leaks, and there's this, and there's that. And we know it's all, like leaked Birds of Prey photos. No, those aren't leaked. Those are planted. But they say, toy leaks and a fake title. They wanted to keep that surprise effect. If anybody was surprised, I would be more surprised at that than I would be that you were surprised at the title. But the two cuts looks like they're either going to go, they're wanting to go this social justice way. Marvel thinks that is the future, and it's not. I mean, it's obviously not. We're seeing a huge backlash. But even like the Russo brothers and McFeely and Marcus don't want to go that way. They all felt that the story deserved to end up with the original characters, and I completely agree. But then Disney and Marvel Studios steps in and desperately wants to introduce Carol on Infinity War, not Endgame, Infinity War. And they kind of had to make concessions at this point because nobody was agreeing. It was one against the other. So concessions were made that Captain Marvel would not be included in Infinity War, but she had to be included in Endgame. And there was a lot of alterations to the original script, and the big one was Captain Marvel. I mean, Captain Marvel is what this all comes down to. But as far as the two different cuts of the film that are supposedly all dependent on how Captain Marvel goes, there's one with the Captain Marvel plan, and another one with the other characters' participation based on if it flaps or not. It even says, they went as far to film some scenes with either Captain Marvel and then refilm the same scene with Captain America and Black Widow, replacing her just because they don't know how this is going to go. And I mean, I kind of do. I kind of see how it's going to go. I would be very surprised if it was successful. But it is Marvel, so I don't see it being, I don't see it bombing, but I don't see it making 100 million. I see, maybe around 75. We'll see. But it does say Brie Larson treats everyone well, but she is very contesting. Oh my God, that's the understatement of the century. And she contested the hell out of this decision until Marvel Studios was forced to shoot these scenes on different days in different scenes, resulting in more spending on this movie. I wish I could say I was surprised at all these things, but I really think this is probably their best bet. Because, like I said, I feel like they're trying to go the social justice route, but they kind of are testing the waters. They're kind of trying to see how this goes, to see if they should go in that direction or if they should stay how we've seen, MCU be very successful in the past 10 years. Now, based on everything we've seen, basically on all platforms, whether it's YouTube or Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't matter. There are those people out there that, regardless if the film is really good or, I guess I don't see it being good. I keep saying that, but you have those people out there that are going to downvote this no matter what. There is going to be outrage no matter what. People are going to say it's bad just on the fact that it's Captain Marvel. And it's not even the fact that it's Captain Marvel. It's the fact that it's Brie Larson. I can't say I will be one of those people. I will give credit where credit's due. But I do see a lot of people going on to Rotten Tomatoes and lowering the score on purpose. And, I get it. I do. I really, really get it. But it won't be good. Now here's where I'm going to start the actual plot leak from this movie. So if you don't want to see it, if you don't want to hear it, if you're going to see the movie, turn this video off now. I warned you. So here we go. Basically, the plot leak of this, in a nutshell, is Carol Danvers is a pilot, obviously. She is out on a mission and ambushed by a Skrull spaceship. She is then, caught in this big explosion with a stolen Kree device. And this essentially gives her superpowers originally. So at this point, she has powers. And this is where Jude Law comes in, who is Star Force Commander Jan Rogue. He will then rescue her, take her back to his Kree homeland, where she will be, immensely trained. She's made to believe she is this free warrior, and she's recruited for the Star Force. And basically, this is the first time he tries to brainwash her. So they go on a mission together, the Star Force, and they are then again ambushed by the Skrulls. And everybody but Carol is her, and her Flurkin, her cat, who is at that time in its alien race form, but that does eventually become Goose. So that's the introduction of him. There really wasn't a whole lot about Goose. I was kind of surprised, but during this ambush, everybody crashes to Earth that was in the fight. So the Skrulls work their way, and they get into a human race, and they work their way into S.H.I.E.L.D. So these Skrulls use their resources within S.H.I.E.L.D. as, workers there, and they try to find and capture Carol. And this is kind of when Fury comes in. He basically thought that Carol was stealing from her, and they have a little back and forth, and she detects that a Skrull is nearby, and this major fight ensues. Well, she gets away from everybody. Fury takes a dead body of the Skrull that happened during the fight back to the headquarters, and this is kind of where he starts to worry, when he wonders, who of his coworkers he can trust, who are Skrulls, who are not. And this is when he also realizes that Carol was not trying to steal nor go against him, and he decides to meet back up with her and take her to his super secret base, where, all the information is stored, even so much information, there's stuff on her. So at this point in the movie, Carol begins to remember her past life, before everything happened, before the original adventure out into space. And she begins to remember, what kind of life she had, and most importantly, she begins to remember Maria. And that's when they find her, and Maria, Fury, and Carol try to figure out where the Tesseract is being held in space, and they all go out and try to retrieve it. Well, they do, of course, retrieve it after being ambushed by Talos and the other Skrulls. And at this point, Maria and Fury go back to Earth, while Carol stays behind on the space station. And this is when Ronan, the accuser, shows up. So we have him here, and they are speaking, and he is explaining to her just exactly why he needs the cube. Because basically, he made a deal with Thanos to give it up in exchange for help in their war. Well, Carol, isn't having it, and she breaks free. And yet again, Jan Rogue appears, and he is actually a super Skrull, because the real Jan Rogue was killed back on Earth so he could be replaced for missions like this. Well, this is when Carol stumbles upon the Tesseract-powered spaceship. And with the ambush and everything, her DNA gets infused with the Tesseract. No wonder she is so OP. Oh my god. So she has superpowers from the beginning, and now she is also infused with the Tesseract. So this is when Jan Rogue decides to try to brainwash her for the second time, and they start to fight. And he is a super Skrull. Yes, he is powerful, but she has a lot more powers than him, and she vaporizes him. So then she leaves Fury in charge of the Tesseract at this point after she goes back on Earth. She forces the Kree and the Skrulls into a peace treaty, and this is kind of why and when Ronan goes rogue. He refuses to accept the treaty, and then that sets us up for the beginning of Guardian of the Galaxy 1. And this is how the pager shows up from the end of Infinity Wars. Because at this point, Fury gives her a pager. In case she ever needs him or he ever needs her, they can get in contact real quick. And she decides to leave Earth. And oddly enough, become a one-woman team. And that's it. So Fury, another thing about this is Annette Bening is Carol's dead mother. But she's basically a hologram. Growth does survive a Skrull ambush, but because of his injuries, that's why we see that cybernetic implant that appears in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And Fury doesn't lose his eye, and Carol doesn't smile. I don't know. I'm lying about the last part. The rest I read was everything in a nutshell. So I kind of believe this. This kind of seems like it very well could be exactly what we're looking at. So I just explained the movie in the nutshell, and you don't even have to go see it. She's OP, powered, twice over. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about these leaks and if there's 2 cuts and everything else. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.